Thank you everyone for joining today. We will get started at 3 o'clock. It's okay if you can't hear anything. You should hear something now that I'm talking, but we won't get started until 3 o'clock. So you have a couple more minutes. If you want to play around with the features like the reactions, you are welcome to do so. We do ask that you put any questions in the Q&A chat. Some of you may be joining us from the YouTube link in which we're being streamed live. If you have any questions on the YouTube side, then you can drop your questions or comments in the comment section. So we will get started in 2 more minutes. Thank you everyone for coming. We'll get started in 1 more minute. We will have a designated Q&A portion of the orientation at the very end. So hang tight. If you have questions, we will be answering those at the end of the session. If you prefer to switch to YouTube, you're more than welcome to do so. All righty, it is 3 o'clock, so we will go ahead and get started. We are so excited to have each and every one of you here today. So some of you are joining us on Zoom and some of you are joining us on YouTube. So my name is Brittany Terrio. I'm the Special Program Specialist here. Along with me today, you will meet Miss Marsha Bearden, the MJ Foster Student Engagement Specialist for the MJ Foster Promise Program. And you will also meet Miss April Bergens, the Public Information Officer. All right, to start us off, April, take it away, please.
So first of all, you all deserve a very big congratulations. You saw this opportunity, you followed up on that opportunity, and you've made it thus far. And you keep following the path to success. So let this be a reminder for you to always persevere when opportunity knocks on your door. Today's orientation, as you can tell, looks a little different than our usual orientations. Due to such an overwhelming response with student registrations to the Zoom meeting, we've had over 1,500 of you register for this meeting. We have implemented a live recording on YouTube. So for those that were unable to enter the Zoom meeting or those that prefer to watch on YouTube live, please know that you can also ask questions via the YouTube comment section. Those questions will be presented during the Q&A session of this presentation. We do ask that you hold all questions until the end of the presentation when we start the Q&A. Before we begin, we just want to remind you of information, resources, and most importantly, contacts of people that will continue to help you along your academic journey. Many of you have already met those of us who work at LOSFA, Ms. Brittany Theriault, Ms. Marcia Bearden, and myself. Hopefully, you are also getting to know your college's financial aid office really well. In fact, at the end of this presentation, we will provide a list of links and email addresses for your convenience. Included in this list is the college directory of MJ Foster college representatives. So each college has an MJ Foster representative in their financial aid office. These contacts are important for you as you gain college and campus access into enrollment and securing your financial aid. Getting to know both LOSFA and college financial aid representatives is extremely important. Also, at the end of the meeting, you will be prompted to complete a survey. For those of you joining us via YouTube, you will receive an email tomorrow with the survey link requesting your response. Please complete this 2-minute survey. It helps us better serve you. Before starting, we ask that you hold all questions until the Q&A segment of the presentation. You may want to take notes of the questions for when the time comes to ask them. I see some people raising their hands. Please note those, if you have questions, to address it in the Q&A for when that time comes. For the links to the websites, web pages, and email addresses in this presentation, we'll include the full links in the chat box and also on the YouTube comment section, as well as at the end of this presentation. In the coming days, we will provide that information to you via email. So to start off, we'll start with Ms. Brittany Theriault.
All righty. Thank you, April. And again, congrats, everyone. So we are the Louisiana Office of Student Financial Assistance, aka LOSFA, and we are a program of the Louisiana Board of Regents. We strive to be Louisiana's first choice for college access by promoting, preparing for, and providing equity of college access. Like I mentioned, we are a program of the Board of Regents, which is a state agency created by the 1974 Louisiana Constitution and coordinates all public higher education in Louisiana. So April's going to provide some information about the MJ Foster Promise Program.
So for those of you that are familiar with MJ Foster Promise Program, this program is available to Louisiana residents 21 years of age or older who have not yet earned an associate's degree or higher. So we're talking associates, bachelor's, master's, doctorate, and you are seeking to obtain a diploma, a degree, or workforce credentials in one of these high demand fields: IT, manufacturing, construction, transportation, warehousing, and healthcare. This orientation is going to help you by providing the steps you need to take to be successful on your MJ Foster Promise journey. We will cover how and when to apply to the MJ Foster Promise application, that you must be enrolled in a participating school and begin an approved program, and how to know if your school and program are eligible for MJ Foster. We will also cover how to receive the award, and once you have received it, how to continue receiving the award for following terms and semesters. Finally, we will cover your side of this promise, that you live and work in Louisiana for 1 year after completing your program. So, poll time. What college, in a moment you will get, you will see a poll pop up. All right, so what college are you attending or plan to attend? For those of you that are on Zoom, you can enter it into the poll. And for those of you that are on YouTube, you can enter your answer into the comment section. We are getting some great responses on both sides. All right.
They're still coming in.
Yeah, I'm pulling our YouTube answers. We have SLCC, BRCC, LSUE, Delgado, Delta College, Unitech, Ayers, Delta College, North Shore, Fletcher, Diesel Driving Academy. So I think that we have a plethora of institutions and also a plethora of potential programs that are going to be enrolled in. Awesome. On the Zoom meeting side, we have students that are going to LSUE, Medical Training College, River Parishes, Bossier Parish, BRCC, Sewella. We do have some undecided, some SLCC, Unitech. Awesome. Compass Career, Nunez. This is excellent.
All righty. So you've completed the MJ Foster application, which was step 1. Step 2 on your MJ Foster application, step 2 on your MJ Foster journey is to apply at an eligible school. So while we're on the topic of eligible schools, please note that the MJ Foster Promise Award can only be used at the schools listed here. So all schools within LCTCS are MJ Foster Promise eligible and include schools such as Delgado, Sewella, and BRCC, just to name a few. There are 12 schools within LCTCS alone. Additionally, there are over 30 approved proprietary schools that are MJ Foster Promise approved. We'll also have LSU Eunice and Southern Shreveport that are participating in the MJ Foster Promise program. So if you need to contact your school, we do have a designated college contact list specifically for the MJ Foster Promise program, which you can see here. So you can access this list in the chat, on the resources slide of the presentation, which will be emailed to you, and on our website. All right, so you've done step 1, which is apply for the MJ Foster Promise program. Step 2 was identifying an approved MJ Foster Promise school. Now, step 3 on your journey is to begin an eligible program. Now that you have identified an eligible school, it's time to choose that program. Approved programs fall within these 5 sectors, as April already mentioned: IT, manufacturing, construction, transportation and warehousing, and healthcare. You may access a list of approved programs in the chat, on the resources slide, and on our website. You may also check with the approved school in which you are enrolled to verify program eligibility. Currently, there are over 200 eligible programs that you can enroll in for the MJ Foster Promise program. All right, so step 4 on your journey is to receive the award. So the MJ Foster Promise program can cover the cost of tuition, fees, mandatory books, and instructional materials. Award amounts cannot exceed $1,600 per semester. I saw someone was asking how much a student can receive. So the max award amount per semester is $1,600. The max annual amount is $3,200 per year. However, students may receive up to $6,400 per year for certain high-cost programs that can be completed in less than 1 year. Students may receive a maximum of $6,400 over a period of 3 years. So the lifetime amount available to students is $6,400. Students cannot receive both MJ Foster Promise and TOPS. So if you're a student who's eligible for both, then you will receive whichever award is higher. If you are enrolled in a less than full-time, then your award amount will be prorated based on the number of hours in which you are enrolled. All right, so LOSFA does not pay students directly. The school in which you are enrolled will request funds on your behalf. So you may receive the award as a first dollar award for your initial payment, but any future payments will be last dollar. So if you're on this call and you're a renewal student and you've already received the award, then any future payment will be a last dollar award. However, if you're a brand new applicant and have never received the MJ Foster Promise Award, then you can utilize your first payment as a first dollar award. Any payments thereafter will be treated as last dollar. And last dollar considers all other sources of aid, excluding student loans, federal work study, and WIOA funds. Students cannot receive a refund of the MJ Foster Promise Award since it is limited to tuition, fees, mandatory books, and instructional materials. All right, so the institution in which you are enrolled will determine final eligibility based on the program in which you're enrolled. So they're going to make sure that you're in an approved program. They're going to see how many hours you are enrolled in, because again, if you're enrolled less than full time, then your award must be prorated. They're also going to look at the amount of tuition, fees, mandatory books, and instructional materials after all other sources of aid, excluding student loans, federal work study, and WIOA, to determine the amount that you may be eligible for. All right, so poll time. In a moment, you should see a poll pop up if you're on the Zoom session. For those of you not on the Zoom session and attending via YouTube, we want to know, have you already completed your FAFSA for the 23-24 academic year? Okay, it's looking like a lot of you have already completed that FAFSA.
Love to see the yes
Yes.
percentage. YouTube, everyone looks like they've completed the 23-24 FAFSA. This is awesome.
Awesome. Yeah, so it looks like we have about 97% of you on the Zoom call today that have completed that FAFSA. So congrats. All righty. So speaking of that FAFSA requirement, depending on the program type that you're enrolled in, you will be required to complete the FAFSA. So if you are a first-time award recipient, then you must complete the FAFSA after your initial payment. If you've already received the award, then you must complete the FAFSA prior to receiving the award for the new award year. If we receive a payment request from a school and you have not completed your FAFSA and are required to, then your payment will error out and you will not receive those funds. If you are enrolled in a Title IV eligible program, if you are not enrolled in a Title IV eligible program, then you are not required to complete the FAFSA. So non-credit and workforce programs are typically Title IV ineligible. However, we highly encourage you to complete the FAFSA if you plan to enroll in a Title IV eligible program in the future. Additionally, we encourage you to complete the FAFSA as a means to verify residency, citizenship, and other determining factors for MJ Foster Promise eligibility. The financial aid office at the school in which you are enrolled will determine if the program is Title IV eligible. So if you have questions wanting to know if your program is in fact Title IV eligible, you'll need to contact the financial aid office at the school in which you're enrolled. If you fail to complete the FAFSA and you are required to complete the FAFSA, then you will lose your award. So moral of the story, just go ahead and complete it. All right, and April's going to speak with you on how to maintain your award.
So now that you have earned your award along the MJ Foster journey, how do you make sure you can continue using it throughout the year and subsequent years? It's important to understand that you must make steady academic progress, good academic standing, and be continuously enrolled in an eligible program. For the programs that receive grades, you must have a cumulative grade point average of at least a 2.0 in a qualified program, or your award will be canceled. For those programs where grades are not provided, students must meet steady academic progress, or your award will be canceled. Once you enroll in a semester or term, you must continue being enrolled in every fall and spring semester thereafter. If you do not maintain steady academic program progress or good academic standing, or meet the required GPA requirement, or fail to be continuously enrolled, your MJ Foster Award will be canceled. In addition to the grades and continuous enrollment, you must annually complete the FAFSA if enrolled in a Title IV eligible program. Ms. Terrio discussed how your college can determine if you are enrolled in a Title IV eligible program. I think it is important to reiterate that LOSFA encourages all students to complete the FAFSA annually. The FAFSA completion is a great way to make sure you are not leaving any dollars behind when it comes to financial aid opportunities. If you are anticipating using MJ Foster Promise for other award years, you will have to annually complete the online application for the MJ Foster Promise Program Award. You are on this call because you completed the MJ Foster Promise Program application for the 23-24 award. The 24-25 application is not yet available. You also must continue to meet initial eligibility requirements, as Ms. Terrio has described earlier. Again, remain in good academic standing at the college in which you are enrolled. You must not be incarcerated and not have a conviction for any violent crime. Those convicted of a violent crime but not incarcerated for that crime are still ineligible. If a veteran of the U.S. Armed Forces and have been separated from service, you must have received an honorable discharge or general discharge under honorable conditions. You must have received the award for no more than 3 consecutive academic years, unless granted an exception, which we will talk about momentarily, and have not used the award to earn more than 60 hours of college credit. So to recap maintaining your award, you may continue to receive an award as long as you meet all of the continuing eligibility requirements we just described, have not exhausted the maximum award of $6,400, and have not received it for more than 3 years. The whole time, true or false? For YouTubers, please put true or false in the comment section. Let's see what you've learned thus far. If enrolled in a program for which letter grades are issued, I will lose my MJ Foster Promise Award permanently if I do not maintain a cumulative 2.0 GPA in a qualified program of study. True or false? If enrolled in a program for which letter grades are issued, I will lose my MJ Foster Promise Award permanently if I do not maintain a cumulative 2.0 GPA in a qualified program of study. All right, YouTube is showing us a lot of truths.
We'll give a few more moments. On the Zoom side, we still have answers coming in.
All right, Zoom is
Okay.
showing us a lot of truths.
All right, so if you selected true, go ahead and pat yourself on the back.
Yay.
All righty. So while we're on the topic of GPA and extenuating and continuous enrollment, so if you experienced extenuating circumstances beyond your control that prevented you from maintaining continuous enrollment and that you can document, you can request an exception for cause to the continuous enrollment requirement by contacting tops.exceptions@la.gov. Please note that you may only request an exception for continuous enrollment. If you do not maintain a 2.0 cumulative GPA in a qualified program of study, then unfortunately you lose eligibility for the award. I encourage you to take a snapshot of this screen so that you can easily access the email address if you need to request an exception. You will get a copy of this presentation emailed to you, so you'll have access to it in the coming week. All right, we got another poll coming your way. So true or false, I can request an exception for not meeting the required GPA.
This sounds like a trick question. All right, our participants on YouTube, looks like they are stating true for the most part. Oh, now we're starting to get some false answers.
All right, we're almost split on the Zoom side. We'll give you a few more moments to get those answers in.
All right, it looks like false is taking over YouTube.
Okay, we'll go ahead and end that poll and share the results. So the answer is false. You cannot request an exception for not meeting the required GPA in a qualified program of study. So if you're enrolled in a program in which letter grades are issued and you do not meet the required GPA, you cannot submit an exception. You may only submit an exception for the continuous enrollment requirement. Alrighty, so the final phase of your journey is your post-program requirement, which you agreed to upon submitting the MJ Foster Promise application. So you agreed to reside and work full-time in Louisiana for a minimum of 1 year after the completion of the last program of study for which funding is received. Both the MJ Foster recipient, meaning you, and the employer must be in Louisiana. All right, so did you know that we had some recent legislative changes to the MJ Foster Promise program? So beginning with the new award year, students may now use the MJ Foster Promise Award for mandatory books and instructional materials in addition to tuition and mandatory fees. If you receive the MJ Foster Promise Award in the initial award year, then you know that you could not receive the award for mandatory books and instructional materials. However, beginning with the new award year, schools may now include books and instructional materials in those payment requests. However, you still may not exceed the semester or annual award maximums. Additionally, your school will determine how much you are eligible for. All right, students are no longer required to complete 20 hours of community service or a program-related apprenticeship, internship, or mentorship for the award received on or after July 1st, 2023. So if you receive the award prior to July 1 of this year, then you must still complete community service hours. As a reminder, you have 1 year from the date that you initially received the award to complete community service. If you have any questions on whether you're required to complete community service, just send us an email at mjfoster.promise@la.gov, and that information will be provided on the resources slide. All right, so we just want to re-congratulate you on your MJ Foster Promise eligibility. Up next, we'll have Ms. Marsha Bearden to chat with you about the Student Network Group. Once she's done informing you of the Student Network Group, we will move on to the Q&A portion of the orientation. All right, so take it away, Ms. Marsha.
Well, thank you, Ms. Harrio. It's a pleasure to be here with you guys today. It really is. Thank you for attending. The MJ Foster Virtual Student Network Group is held every third Monday each month at 7:00 p.m. This provides an opportunity whereby students can learn about available mentorships, apprenticeships, internships, and other opportunities. Students receive information about available scholarships and financial aid opportunities. Students within our student network groups have heightened awareness of available resources needed for academic access, success, and completion. The MJ Foster Student Network Group offers another layer of support as it relates to academic achievement and completion. Before You is an engagement tool we utilize during our student network groups. We call it a Padlet. Students are afforded the opportunity to introduce themselves and provide us with pertinent information regarding any support they may need in accomplishing their academic goals. As mentioned, this is one of the many tools we utilize during our student network groups to engage students and support them as they persevere through their program. The mission of our student network groups is to address the needs of the whole student holistically, mentally, physically, and emotionally as they persevere and navigate through their chosen field of study. The goal is to provide continuous support as you matriculate through your specific program by addressing academic and social and emotional needs through group and peer mentoring. Networking is critical to success. Our objectives include addressing the needs of students and facilitate in developing those connections so students will have a firm foundation to thrive academically and professionally upon graduation. As mentioned, students within our student network groups, they have heightened awareness of wraparound services, along with valuable resources to promote success and completion. As mentioned earlier, our student network groups, we only meet once a month, every third Monday at 7 o'clock. Each student network group, well, we had 7, now we come together collectively, and it only lasts for an hour. You have the opportunity to meet an academician, a practitioner. You get to network with other students from different various colleges and universities within the same major. We have 7 dynamic student network groups. We have nursing, accounting and finance, engineering, information technology, computer information systems, of course, the MJ Foster Student Network Group, education, and one for our high schoolers, the post-secondary transition student network group. We gather and we connect, we share resources, study skills, time management strategies, we share experiences, we support and encourage each other. We also discuss financial aid opportunities along with FAFSA completion and TOPS retention. Here are some screenshots of our previous student network groups. You will notice that the attendance may vary, but the wealth of information remains the same. Our student networks groups, they have grown exponentially, guys, since our inception in May of 2021. Here's a graph to depict our continuous growth and outreach. Student feedback is imperative to what we do. As a matter of fact, it assists in structuring each student network group. Students are provided a survey after each network group to share their comments and suggestions, which assist us in the development of future sessions. As you can see on the upper right-hand side of your screen, we have partners such as LHC Group and EBSCO, who provide students within our student network group with employment opportunities. Students within our student network groups are provided an opportunity to hear these professionals who come into our sessions to discuss various opportunities, such as internships, mentorships, and apprenticeships available to them. During our announcements, students are also provided pertinent information regarding available resources, such as the Affordable Connectivity Program. They also have the opportunity to hear about how to obtain healthcare coverage, and other resources to assist them as they complete their program. Each section is comprehensive, encouraging, and strategic in ensuring you are provided adequate support to complete your program. Here is our calendar for fall 2023. We have our kickoff that will be August 21st. Before you will see that we have dynamic speakers. If you'd like, you can go ahead and grab that QR code so you can go ahead and register. I'm speaking about this coming student network group, which is August the 21st. We have a speaker that you would not want to miss. Dr. Dana Andrus, will discuss mental health for academic success. We would love for you to come and join us. You are in for a treat for all who choose to join us on the 21st of August at 7 o'clock p.m. Next slide. We also have a LinkedIn page where students can connect with each other and with employers who may provide employment opportunities and career advice. LinkedIn is a great resource to expand your network. Please join us on LinkedIn. All right. The MJ Foster Student Network Group is really an opportunity for you guys to grow and connect together as you succeed and persevere through your academic program. If you guys ever need me, my information will be provided in the forthcoming slides. You can meet with me personally. There were an opportunity where you can grab my calendar and schedule a one-on-one with me if you want to speak to me. And there is also my personal cell phone number that you can call me directly. You can speak with me anytime. I'm always available.
All righty. Thank you so much, Miss Marcia.
You're welcome.
All right, so these are the ways that you can connect with LOSFA on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. You can also connect with us on the web. You can ask Lex any question that Lex can't answer. Lex will direct you over to a live agent. We also have virtual office hours, 9 a.m. through 3 p.m., Monday through Friday. Here's the list of contacts and resources mentioned throughout the presentation. We will send this information over to you via email, so you will have access to these valuable resources. You can also take a screenshot. I'll leave it up for just a moment before we move on. All right, so at this time, we will open the floor to the Q&A. We will dedicate approximately 30 minutes to answering questions. Any questions that we are not able to get to, we will send a follow-up email and provide those answers. If you are asking questions in the Zoom session, we ask that you present your question in the Q&A. For those of you joining via YouTube, please drop your questions in the comment section. Once all questions are answered, or we've hit that 30-minute time limit, we will end the orientation. Like I mentioned, we will share the Q&A questions and responses in a follow-up email. At this time, you are welcome to stay on or to leave if you feel that your questions have been answered. Once the MJ Foster student orientation ends, you will be prompted to complete a brief survey. We ask that you please complete that survey so that we can learn better ways to serve you. For those of you joining via YouTube, you will receive a follow-up email with the survey included. All right, so at this time, I'll go ahead and dive into the Q&A. So it looks like on YouTube, someone asked, what do I do if I got invited to this meeting, but never got the email that says I've been accepted into the MJ Foster program? So you should refer to your notifications in your Student Hub account under the Communications tab. You should see a notice that alerting you that you are eligible. We have a question asking what qualifies as community service. So if you were one of those students who received the award prior to July 1st of this year, and you're required to complete community service, it's going to be through any nonprofit organization and educational institution in which you are volunteering your time to complete those 20 hours of community service. Ms. Marcia Bearden is your go-to if you are looking for community service organizations to complete your community service through. Again, you only need to complete those community service hours if you receive the award prior to July 1st of this year. Someone, oh, go ahead, April.
So someone is requesting information about the CDL program and wanted to know if funding is available for the Diesel Driving Academy or other programs that offer CDL training. So yes, CDL training is one of the sectors that are available to receive funding under the MJ Foster Promise program. I believe Diesel Driving Academy is an approved college or school. However, you can verify that through the links to the eligible schools and programs that we provided on the webinar chat, and that we will also provide in the follow-up email to this presentation. How is it able to be distributed? So first, once you receive your eligibility notice, you will want to click on that MJ Foster College Directory and find the MJ Foster representative at your school's financial aid office. You will then want to self-report to them via their email that, hey, I'm an MJ Foster recipient and I'm wanting to enroll into this program. So for instance, the CDL program. Once you let your college's financial aid office know that you're an MJ Foster recipient, they will then begin the billing process for you. So just make sure number one step was to attend this orientation so you can have information. And number two is to reach out to your college's self representative for MJ Foster to get the ball rolling on the billing process. Also, I'll go ahead and answer this question. We do have someone stating that unfortunately a friend of theirs was not able to get the award due to factors that are eligibility requirements. So we cannot change legislation on who is eligible for the MJ Foster Promise Award. However, in the coming days, we will send you an email that you can share with others. If you have people that are looking for financial aid or looking for proper financial aid advising, maybe there's some other scholarships or opportunities that they didn't know that they were eligible for. And LOSFA has actually created a brand new division that is set to assist students in those areas of advising. So when we do this follow-up email, we will provide that email for you and that contact so that you can share with your friends who may not have been eligible for the MJ Foster Promise Program.
All right, thank you. So we have someone asking if the Healthcare Institute is included as an MJ Foster Promise school, and yes, it is. Someone else is asking if Southern University Baton Rouge is an eligible school, and unfortunately, no, it's not. So the program is limited to two-year public institutions and Board of Regents approved proprietary schools. Southern University Shreveport is an approved MJ Foster Promise school.
Okay. And what is considered a high-cost program is determined by your college's financial aid office. So you will need to consult with your MJ Foster representative at your college's financial aid office in order to determine if you are enrolled in a high-cost program.
All right, someone is asking, are there any grants for students who may be struggling at home? I was told there were, but I'm not sure how true that is.
All right, Brittany, if students are struggling and wanting some grants or to know about some financial aid opportunities outside of MJ Foster Promise, they can email LOSFA, LOSFA .advising@la.gov. And I'm going to put that in the chat right now.
Thank
this
you
is
for
a
that.
new division through LOSFA that can help you through your academic journey. You want to see if there are other financial aid opportunities out there for you.
Awesome. Okay. So we have another student asking or stating that they've received an email from a school that as of today, their admission status is provisionally admitted, which prevents a financial aid award, and unsure of what this means. I would advise that you reach out to the financial aid office at that school using the designated college contact list that we've provided during the orientation and that we will also provide in a follow-up email. Okay, we have someone asking from YouTube, when or how long do we have to use the grant for this time? I had it a month ago, but the program I was interested in started after July 1st, which is completely fine. So the award year for the current award year runs from July 1st of 2023 to June 30th of 2024. I would advise that you enroll in a program as quickly as you can since we only have a limited amount of funds. So if you have a program that you're interested in and it begins after July 1st and you are eligible for the new award year, then you may potentially receive the award.
So what if I don't qualify for financial aid? Does the MJ Foster funds supplement that? This is a question from YouTube. So MJ Foster Promise is a financial aid resource. So it is financial aid. If you did your FAFSA and your FAFSA shows that you do not qualify for anything under the FAFSA application, you can still use your MJ Foster Promise funds.
Okay.
So,
go ahead, April.
How does your school request the payment for fall? So what you need to do, like I said, once you've received your eligibility notice, is to look at that directory. I will drop it once again in the webinar chat, and we will also have it into the resources for your email. But you will contact your MJ Foster representative at your school's financial aid office. You will self-report that you are an MJ Foster Promise recipient, and they will verify your eligibility and then start the process, the billing process. We do want to point out that this is a very heavy season for financial aid offices. So you may not get an automatic response. You may not get it in 2 days, okay? This does take a process. So as long as you self-report to your MJ Foster rep at your college's financial aid office, you've done your part. Okay.
Okay, we have someone asking, what if I'm dual enrolled at another school within LCTCS? So if you're dual enrolled, you must have a consortium agreement on file, and the eligible school should be requesting those funds from our office.
How would the school know that you're using the MJ Foster grant to pay for classes? You need to self-report to your college's financial aid office that you are an MJ Foster recipient. Can you receive $6,400 for a medical assistant program? So you can receive up to $6,400 for the 3 years maximum term. If your medical assistant program is completed in 1 year and your deems it a high cost program that is completed, that can be completed in 1 year, you can potentially use the full $6,400. However, it is at your college's discretion to determine that. So you will need to determine if that is a high cost program that can be completed within 1 year through your college's financial aid office.
Okay, we have someone asking on YouTube, does eligible on LOSFA, meaning through the Student Hub, mean you are awarded the MJ Foster Promise program? If so, how long does it take for your school to be notified for it? So if you're eligible on the roster, it means that you're eligible to receive the award. So the school in which you're enrolled can pull down the roster and see that you're eligible on there and submit a payment request for you. Like we mentioned throughout the presentation, the school will determine final eligibility based on the program in which you're enrolled, the number of hours in which you're enrolled, and how much tuition, fees, instructional materials, and books are available to be billed for. You'll remember that you cannot receive a refund of the MJ Foster Award, and then it can only be applied to those tuition fees, books, and supplies. So if you're enrolled in a semester-based program, the school cannot submit a payment request to our office until after the 14th class day. If you're enrolled in a non-traditional program, then the school can request a payment from our office through the last day to drop and receive a full refund. So if you're inquiring about how much you may be eligible to receive, I would encourage you to reach out to the financial aid office.
Okay, so what if you have received a different last name since you applied, or you're trying to apply next year, but your name has changed since by the time you get to next year's application? If you go through any kind of name changes, you need to email custserve@la.gov or mjfoster.promise@la.gov and let us know that you are, that you've went through a name change. We do need documentation for that to submit those changes on our end, but we don't know unless you tell us. So make sure that you email us. I am also, that will be in the resource list that we provide to you guys, and it's also in the webinar chat.
Okay, we have someone asking, how will we get books covered? Can your meal plan be covered? So as we discussed earlier, the school in which you are enrolled will request funds on your behalf. So they will determine if the books are covered and how much you're eligible for. Meal plans are not included and cannot be covered by the MJ Foster Promise Award.
Okay. Does the program cover prereqs or just the classes required for the program? It can cover prereqs. You just have to make sure that you are enrolled in an eligible program. So speak with your financial aid representative for MJ Foster. Let them know you want to use MJ Foster. They will advise you on your prereqs. But in order for prereqs to be covered under MJ Foster, you must be enrolled in an eligible program. Okay. I believe already covered, can we receive $6,400 for a medical assistant program? You do have potential to receive $6,400 for a medical assistant program, but your college's financial aid office will have to determine, you'll have to go through the process of the billing cycle and the billing process, okay? So if it is a high cost program that ends within 1 year, as determined by your college, you can have the potential to receive the $6,400 for the 1 year application cycle.
Okay, we have someone asking, what if you were working on 2 degrees and one program is covered, but the other degree is not? So you can receive the award, but only for those classes that are necessary for the eligible program. So if you're taking 12 hours and 4 of those hours are needed for an MJ Foster Promise approved program, then the amount that you're eligible for will be prorated based on those 4 hours.
Okay, so for YouTube, they're asking a CDL Title IV program. Well, that depends on what your college is doing with the CDL program. For the most part, if you're going through the CDL program in a non-credit programming division or in a workforce division, most likely that CDL program is a non-Title IV program, okay? But that is also, once again, determined by your school. So we highly encourage you to reach out to your college's financial aid office to see if the CDL program is a Title IV at your school, because it may be at one school and not at the other, depending on how they built that program.
Okay.
Can you get the, for YouTube, can you get the MJ Foster Award along with student grants? So I'm assuming that you're referring to the Pell Grant, and you can potentially, I'm gonna let Brittany take that one because her words flow much gracefully than mine with this
Okay,
question.
so it does depend. Remember when we discussed earlier, if your program is Title IV eligible and you're a brand new student, meaning you've never received the MJ Foster Promise Award, then your initial payment will be applied as a first dollar payment, meaning before any other sources of aid. So after your initial payment as a brand new applicant, it will then revert to a last dollar award, which means it will look at other sources of aid like Pell Grant, institutional grants, scholarships. And if those other grants cover the full cost of your tuition and fees, then you would not receive the MJ Foster Promise Award. However, if you're a student who's already received the award for the initial award year and you've reapplied for the new award year, the MJ Foster will still operate as a last dollar award, meaning it cannot be applied until after all other sources of aid, excluding student loans, federal work study, and WIOA funds. And again, it can only apply to tuition, fees, books, and instructional materials.
All right, do you have to take only in-class classes or campus classes, or can you take online classes? So you can take online classes as long as those classes are billable from the approved school or college's financial aid office. So there are some online programs that are marketed from certain colleges, but they are not billable from the financial aid office of that college. So as long as those online classes can be billable through the college or school's financial aid office, then it can, and it's under an eligible program, it can be used for MJ Foster.
Okay, someone said I only received $14 from the Pell Grant, but I accepted federal loans. Will MJ Foster cover the rest of tuition? It is $2,900. If my school uses the loans I accepted, will I receive money back once MJ Foster is received? So The MJ Foster must be applied before those student loans, and it will cover, if you're enrolled in a semester-based program, it will cover up to $1,600 per semester. So if you've already accepted those student loans and they've covered your entire balance, you can request that the school return that student loan back to the Department of Education.
All right, what if I'm already enrolled in a CDL training program that started in May? So if it started in May, that means that that program would fall under last year's MJ Foster Award. So this year's 2023-2024 MJ Foster application is for programs that start July 1 of this year and end and that does not start later than June 30th of next year. So if it started prior to July 1 of this year, your MJ Foster award for the 23-24 year would not be able to be used for that program that started in May.
Okay, someone's asking, what if you want to change the program? So if you haven't started that program yet, you just want to make sure that the program that you are going to change to is an MJ Foster Promise approved program.
Okay, so Kevin asked if the book money allowance allows for more money to be added to the principal of the grants. No. So you are awarded for a Title IV program per semester up to $1,600. And if your school bills us for textbooks included, those textbook amount will account for part of that $1,600. So it's not the $1,600 plus textbooks, it's $1,600. And then if your textbooks fall into that $1,600, then we can provide those funds.
Okay, we have someone asking, what if your FAFSA is denied and you're in default? You may be in default and still receive the MJ Foster Promise Award. We have someone, oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, it's important to be reminded that when it comes to textbooks and instructional materials and school necessities, those can be billed according to the discretion of your college's financial aid office, okay? So it is not, you have to bill me for these pens, these notebooks, this nursing supplies that I need. You need to have that discussion and that conversation with your MJ Foster representative at your college's financial aid office. They can bill for certain textbooks and instructional supplies, but there you need to have a conversation with your financial aid office for that, because they are also restricted as to what they can bill for when it comes to textbooks and instructional supplies.
Okay, we have someone asking, what if we work online in Baton Rouge and the job station is in another state? So for the post-program requirement, both you and the company in which you work for must be located in Louisiana.
All right, so what if you don't have enough federal Pell Grant money to cover your balance on your fee bill for school? This is ideal for MJ Foster. So as long as the balance includes tuition and fees or textbooks and instructional materials, MJ Foster can step in and cover that balance. But once again, the balance has to include a balance of tuition and fees and textbook and instructional materials. So any other type of balance that you may have after the federal Pell Grant is dispersed to you, and it doesn't fall under the MJ Foster requirements, then MJ Foster cannot cover that.
Okay, we have someone asking about class time. Class time is not affected by MJ Foster. You would still be able to receive the MJ Foster Promise Award so long as you're enrolled in an eligible program at an eligible institution.
Okay, if you're referring to student network meetings and you want to attend the student network
Gotcha.
meetings, but you're in class at that time, the MJ Foster Promise Program meets the third Thursday of every month, correct, Marcia? She's saying yes. But if you are enrolled in a specific program like healthcare or nursing or any other kind of programs, they have student network groups for those particular sectors as well. So you may want to check out the student network group's website, determine which network group you want to join, and then alter that with your class schedule. Also, if you're not able to join a student network group, you can contact Ms. Marcia directly, and she'll be more than happy to designate a time for a one-on-one session to meet your needs.
Okay, we have someone asking what happens after status changes to awarded. So the statuses that are currently in effect are eligible and renewal eligible. So if your status went from waitlisted to eligible, that means that you are good to go and visit your financial aid office to determine final eligibility based on the program that you're enrolled in, the number of hours, and the amount of tuition and fees that you have available for the school to bill. So basically what happens, you apply, you are moved to eligible, you enroll, the school verifies final eligibility and then submits a payment request over to our office. If you're enrolled in a traditional semester-based program, the school can request funds from our office after the 14th class day.
Brittany, let me address the student network group. I thought that I was speaking, but I was on mute.
Go for it.
We're doing something very exciting this semester. We will meet every third Monday at 7 o'clock. All of our groups will come in collectively. This is very exciting. And if you'd like, my contact information is in the chat. Please reach out to me and we can discuss how you can attend, and we can discuss your work hours so you can attend because we do record. So you will have the opportunity to experience all of which our student network groups provide. But thank you so much for your question and your interest in our student network group. It is definitely a valuable resource. Thank you, guys.
All right, we have someone asking, this is the last semester of my program. Am I allowed to use more than the semester cap? So no, unfortunately, you are still capped at $1,600 per semester. I do want to mention that we are nearing the end of our Q&A session. We have about 5 minutes left, and at 4:05, we will stop answering questions. I see that many of you have asked questions, and we appreciate that. So we'll make every effort to get those questions answered and emailed over to you. But we still have 5 minutes remaining.
So we do have a question regarding, can I transfer my financial aid to another school in Louisiana? As far as it is concerning MJ Foster Promise, yes, you can. However, it needs to be transferred to an eligible college and in an eligible program. So you can transfer your MJ Foster Promise Award, but the same eligibility requirements still are required, and it must be an eligible school and eligible program.
And I want to mention that you want to make sure that you are meeting satisfactory academic progress at both institutions. So it will be contingent upon how successful you are in your first semester or term when you're transferring those funds over to a new school. Okay, I believe we've already covered the question about default and FAFSA denial. You may still receive the MJ Foster Promise Award.
Okay, if you are enrolled full-time in a program that is only 9 months, how much am I eligible for? This could possibly be one of those programs that end within 1 year that can be billed upon the entirety of that program, or up to $6,400 upon your initial payment. Once again, this needs to be decided by your college's financial aid office. So we do have that directory. You have an MJ Foster representative at each college in their financial aid office that can help you determine how much you can be eligible for your program.
Okay, someone said, how do I withdraw my application if I'm not enrolled if I'm not enrolling in a qualifying program? So you want to make sure that you email mjfoster.promise@la.gov to withdraw your application.
And if your program does not start until January 2024, are you still eligible? Yes, you are still eligible. You do want to enroll as soon as possible. You know, MJ Foster is allocated a certain amount of funds per year. So if their funds are available, you can certainly enroll in an eligible program at an eligible college in January 2024 and receive this application's MJ Foster funds.
Can we go to school for education? So education is not an approved MJ Foster Promise program. It is limited to those 5 sectors, which are IT, healthcare, construction, manufacturing, and warehousing and transportation.
Okay, so there is a question saying, what if I start my own business within Louisiana after I've received my credential or award or diploma, and I use the knowledge gained from my program? As long as the program is listed in Louisiana and you are using your degree in that career, then you would be meeting the work requirement.
We have another question from YouTube about next steps after being awarded, or when will it be awarded and next steps? And we've already answered this question. Okay, another question from YouTube. I know it's not, the college that I'm going to said to me when I called and told her about it, she said it doesn't come in on time, I'll be held responsible. Again, so the schools do have to request those funds. If you're having issues in accessing those funds or getting information, you can always email mjfoster.promise@la.gov or refer to that designated college contact list to get to an MJ Foster specialist at the school in which you are enrolled.
And I think this next question coming from YouTube is a perfect way for us to end this orientation. So from YouTube, what are the next steps after receiving the eligibility status? So you've completed step 1, which was attend this orientation session. Step 2 is going to be apply and enroll in an eligible school and an eligible program. Okay. Once you do that, you want to reach out to your MJ Foster Promise representative at your school's financial aid office, refer to the directory that we provided in the chat, and also that we will email to you tomorrow, most likely tomorrow. And then go from there. Let your MJ Foster representative advise you according to their billing process, verify your eligibility, and then start that billing process with us. Okay.
Alrighty. So that's going to end it for us today since we have hit that 30-minute mark. Thank you everyone for attending today's session. We will follow up with you guys as April mentioned. If you have questions, feel free to reach out to us at mjfoster.promise@la.gov. We will work diligently on getting all of your 200 plus questions answered. So thank you so much. We really enjoyed the fact that you were so engaged, which is why we hosted this event. So we look forward to helping you along on your MJ Foster Promise journey.
And don't forget to complete that survey. It's so important and it helps us help you. Please complete that survey.